Alright, so today task is we've got the blade heated up to critical, but before I heat it up to critical again and then quench it, I need to have something to safely quench it in. I have a basketball stand that I haven't used for forever. We've got a circular pipe on that, of course, that I'm going to use. It's bigger than what the blade is. It'll be big enough to be able to hold the oil. So I've gone ahead, cut off a section of that pipe. I'm going to go ahead, work it one end so I can kind of fold it over so I can get it sealed. Then I'll cut it to length so that I have more than a long enough tube. I've got a container I was going to use for my quenching. The problem is I just don't have enough oil, and I'm trying to avoid having to spend extra money, so I'm trying to use the used cooking oil I already have, which is going to be more than enough to fill up this tube, not enough to fill up the container, so the tube's going to be in the container. Pour in the oil, then I'll quench the blade. Anything that leaks out is still going to be in that container, so I don't need the tube to be 100% secure. It just has to be secure enough, and as I go through and I test it, I can always use JB weld or actually weld on it to try to get a good seal. So we'll see what I'm able to do with the forge. Got the tube in there heating up right now. Alright, so this is my future quench tube. Have it ratchet strapped to my tool rack so that it's not moving anywhere. I'm going to come across, grind the top of it. Got most of it closed up. A lot of the gaps look like they're pretty well sealed. I poured some water through it to test. It still leaks out a bunch, So what I'm going to try to do is weld it on this side, see how it does, do another test pour into it. Then I will flip it over and go ahead, and if it's still leaking, pour some liquid tar stuff that I have and see if that goes ahead and stops the leak for me. So, alright, well, let's get to work. Okay, when welding, pay attention to where you're doing what's around it. I wasn't. Got splatter all over my anvil. I'm going to need to put a flat disc on my grinder and go over it. Now, that's my little quench bucket that I use. Just happens to have an opening that's just bigger than this. Fill in there. Here it hits because the welding's still hot. Go ahead. Even though the tube up here is cold, I'm going to be very careful when I pour this in here. Did you hear that? Yep. That metal down at the bottom, piping hot. There's a chance for it to come out as steam there. Now let's see how good of a job I did. Well, no leaks. Not sure how hot that one might be. Obviously there was water in there, so you can looks like I have now made a $0 quench tube. Only thing left I have to do with that is cut it to length. I'll do that right after right as I'm getting ready to actually finish the knife off. But there we go. So that's how you do it with the things you have on hand. Thanks. Remember, emergency roomers visits on nobody's budget. You have a good day.